I'm trying. That was deep. Very, very good. Very good. Very good. I don't think I can top that, but as your keynote speaker, the first thing I would like to do is ask you guys, do you remember the keynote speech that was given to you when you graduated? Yeah, you ain't gonna remember this one either. Gotta make sure that's understood. But I definitely want to reiterate a lot of the things that the young man before me has touched on. And I want to start off by first saying congratulations to the class. How you say class in singular? Is there like a class? Graduation to the class of 2018. This young woman has been in education way before she entered the Philadelphia Institution of Education. And I think that's what the young man I knew was trying to say. And she went to, I think it was Hardy University, I believe it was. It was Hardy University, I believe it was. I believe that was the case. And as a distinguished student, I got a chance to see her from the earliest days, and I can remember that embryo day when she was crowned. And I remember talking to this little girl and explaining to her why her father called her princess. And I just thought for this keynote, maybe I would explain that to you guys as well. Hopefully you like it. So I explained to her that the first thing that was given to her during her crowning was her bloodline. And that her bloodline was the coming together of the two greatest architects that she would ever know. These two would develop and build a foundation for her that would be so strong and have so much footing that she could build any potential that she's interested in climbing to. That there were no limitations in this household. And I think having a graduation in your front yard proves that to the T. Stagehands wear black and they're not seen when they're fidgeting with the stage. Thank you. And so with her parents' foundation, she would always ask, why do you guys call me princess? And in that explanation, I would explain to her that by the mixing of these two architects, the red and the blue, would create this purple that would run through her veins and it would make her, remember, she's little, so don't judge me. She's very little. And I'm explaining that makes the royal blood that rose through her family. I explained to her that her skin was like the gold and this was the land that she would then use to go out and present herself to the world. I then explained to her that as she was growing up, she would become queen. She would become queen, and she would have many of those who would look up to her and need her as she looks forward onto her lifestyle. I also explained that ceremonies would happen, that all through her life, people would come to her house to visit, eat around her tables, and hold her in the highest of royalty. I want you guys to know I was talking about you when I said you'd be there. So I want you to give yourself a round of applause just for being the village that kept this queen together. I think that's important. As we look at the future, look at this young lady and say, she did it. We do know the challenges that she went through because we're in a circle. We don't even need to go down the medical history report, do we, Hanif? We don't need to go through that. But we do need to go through what he did go through, which was her achievements and her ability to overcome. We have put, I say we, like I'm her parent, but the Hardys have put her in some of the toughest educational environments, and she overcame those environments. She wasn't removed from these environments. She said, there's another way, and I'm going to do that, right? I sat down with her and said, there is no other way. You got to do it this way. She said, Uncle Reem, there's another way. I have to take this call. She said, there is no other way. I said, there is no other way. She said, there is another way. And I'm going to leave the school. I said, how are you going to do it, Nande? She said, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. So she picked another school. She went to this other school, which I would say, in my behalf, I didn't believe was going to challenge her at the level that I thought that school was. She went to the school and said, you know what? No one can challenge me better than myself. No one can teach me better than myself. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it. And that's what I watched this little girl do. To go from going to school, achieving what needed to be achieved at the highest level, leaving in tears, to saying, let me do it myself, lose the tears, and gain a self-confidence within myself that is branched off the foundation of my parents. That's what I watched this little girl do. I don't know if you guys saw the same thing, but that's what I got a chance to see. And I thought that I would tell you a story, a small, very brief story, if you can just bear with me a few more seconds, about a great queen in our history that did the exact same thing. And I was mimicking this queen when I was telling her the story. So in the 18th dynasty, way back in time, way before we knew we were kings and queens, there was a queen, there was a young lady who was raised in a family of architects. And she was, her family was killed. And as her only person that was left from her family was her brother. She then was asked, hey, can I take over the king of the entire Africa while this particular, my brother is old enough, because of course men become kings. They said, okay, you can do that. She did. And then they said, you're doing a great job, but your brother's old enough. She said, you know what? We should send him off to war. I thought that was quite like Nande, sending her brothers off to college. They went off to war, her brother went off to war. She stayed and convinced them that she would then build the temples, and the only temple, not the only temple, but one of the temples that still exists today is her temple. She then became a queen. She then ruled over that dynasty for about 3 dynasties, and then after that, they raised her to the position of goddesses. So if you went to Africa, you would read about Hashpu, the queen. And I'm just wanted to dedicate that story to you because your potential is the same. You are Hashpus. You can rise to any potential. There are no limitations, there's no gender restrictions, there's nothing that can stand in your way. And if you're telling me that law is what you're going to follow, you have already argued every case in this household that you will argue out there on the floor. And you've won them all. So I can't see you not taking that record to the judicial system. I just want to say I'm proud of her. I hope you guys feel the exact same way. And I hope a small story like that will help you see that this ceremony is not the beginning. It's not the end. This is just one of the rituals we will go through to see you into your queendom. Love you all.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't expect this, did y'all? Yeah, I'm back. Y'all ain't expect. Nah. So I was talking to my father back there, and I forgot something. I forgot a few things that I want to bring up because I think it's important. The whole time, me and Cousin Reem, we've been talking about the things that